Get on in there. Wow, it's a team of people over there.
I have got two questions.
Okay.
One serious and one not so serious.
Okay.
The first one is related to that previous question in that, have you ever been to the Normandy beaches?
I have. I went to Normandy. I went to the beaches of Normandy when we were shooting. I went and I just followed the path of Easy Company. So on one of the hiatuses we had, I went and I started at St. Mary Glees and literally just followed the path of the guys. Now, the 101st Airborne. Now, technically, we were never at the beach, but obviously, I'm not going to go all the way there and not go to the beaches. And I went to, Point de Hawk and Utah Beach, Normandy Beach, all the major, Gold, Juneau, all the beaches along there. It's phenomenal to see that stuff because they've left some of the Czech hedgehogs and things on the beach. And you see, you're driving along these beautiful fields, and you'll see one of the German gun emplacements, right there in the middle of the farm. They just left it there, which I think is so smart, because again, it's reminding certainly the French and anyone who visits how recent that was and how terrifying it was. How they were occupied. It was an occupied country for years, which is impossible to think about now when you're me and you weren't around for the war. To think about there was European countries. This wasn't some far-off land that you can pretend you don't know anything about. This is Europe. Was occupied by another European nation. That's just baffling to think about. And so I love that they've kept a lot of those pieces of history right there so kids can go and see it and understand what the coastline looked like during that period. Yeah, I've definitely been up there, and it's just mind-blowing. And then I went to a grave site in Luxembourg where Muck is buried, and George Patton is buried there too. So I've been to several of the military hospitals, which, by the way, graveyards, which is so overwhelming. It is so overwhelming to see military burial grounds from the war like that, because it's just a sea of white crosses. It just breaks your heart. It is so much death. I know this is a hilarious panel so far. We laugh yourself to sleep. Oh, death. But truly, it's one of those things that doing Band of Brothers forced me to understand that war. I didn't know anything about it except for what I learned in school. So it forced me to learn about it, and going to visit those graveyards, there but for the grace of God go any of us, and it's certainly, you hate that all those crosses are there. But if those crosses weren't there, the outcome would have been very different. You needed people to volunteer to step up and take a bullet, quite frankly, in order to win the war. It boggles the mind that there are people who are willing to step in that position.
Have you been to the First World War, Belgium? Have you done the trenches?
No, I haven't done the trenches tour, but I went to the Battle of the Bulge sites. Right. And the Seven Roads Museum and that kind of thing. But
that's really nice, heartbreaking. It's even more heartbreaking. And if you go to the different types of active cemeteries, so if you go to the British cemetery and the German cemetery and then the French cemetery, the way they're laid out is completely different, and the atmosphere is completely different in each of those.
Interesting.
You just sort of stand there and cry.
Right. It's very overwhelming, right?
It is.
Even if you don't have a loved one in there, because you're affected by it. I mean, your life is affected by it whether you know it or not, as it always is.
And then the fun question.
Please, God. Okay.
I really love it when you and Rob do invitations to each other.
Thank you. Did Rob do his me yet?
Well, yeah. The thing is, he kind of is a bit like you in his mannerisms anyway, and you're a bit like him.
I know. Rob and I are kind of similar,
Yeah.
which is weird for two guys who didn't know each other. Because people will say, "Oh, how long have you and Rob known each other?" And the answer is not that long, really. And we met doing conventions. We met like you people are meeting this weekend, by being stuck backstage and traveling together. Although, and he does not like this story. He does not feel like this story reflects well on him. But he and I met several times. We crossed paths several times before actually getting to know each other in the convention circuit. But Rob could not, would not effing remember me. So I would see Rob somewhere, and I liked his work as an actor. I always thought he was really talented. So I'm one of those dudes there, if I see somebody that is a peer of mine, and I like their work, I will tell them that I like their work. It's not a competitive business for me. You know, I'm not in this to beat Rob. I'm just in this to act. So I love that people work. It's great. And so I saw Rob somewhere, and I'm like, hey, I introduced myself, and I told him who I was, and said I'd seen him in whatever I'd seen him in, and that I loved his work. And go away, run into him some other time. I'm like, hey, Rob, Richard, we met at the thing. I said I liked the thing, and he was like, I don't remember Rob. I'm like, okay, you're Rob, right? Yeah, Richard. All right, cool. Next time I'm seeing him, like, hey, man, remember me? We met. He's like, no, I'm Rob. Hi. I'm like, oh. Nice to meet you. Then I saw he did a tape. He was a star in the pilot of a friend of mine who wrote it. I was at the taping and I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, and he's like, ah. I'm like, Rich. He's like, no. So then I quit. I say, I give up. And I go to the movies with my wife. And there's a bar at the movie theater upstairs where you can kind of have a drink before you go into the theater. And I'm sitting there with my wife at a table on this side. And I look over across the bar. Nobody else in this restaurant. Over here is Rob and his wife having a drink. Why are you sympathetic to Rob in this story? And so I'm here having a drink with my wife. And I go to the bar. I order a drink. And he brings me the drink and he's like, hey. Aren't you in Supernatural? And I go, yeah, I'm a Supernatural. And the bartender looks over at Rob's table and he goes, isn't that guy in Supernatural? And I go, yeah, he is. Supernatural. Rob Benedict. And he's like, why aren't you two talking to each other? I said, he never remembers me. The guy's like, yeah, I hear you. I understand. And every time I tell that story, Rob goes, Rich, that's not, I don't think that's, I don't recall if you go over there. I really don't think that's what happened. I'm not that good, Rich. But the real reason why he hates that story is because it's true. Anyway, by the way, do you guys, out of curiosity, do you think I do a good Rob Benedict imitation?
Yeah!
Does he do a good Richard Spade? Yeah. Oh, mine's better, huh? Boom. Thank you for the questions, by the way. Thank you. All right, you. Rob makes me laugh, though. The one thing I'll tell you this. Out of, you go through life and you meet various people in your existence, and certain people fill certain gaps or strike you in an interesting way. Rob, like since high school and having high school buddies, he probably makes me laugh harder than anybody I've ever met. I find that dude so amusing, even when he's not trying to be amusing. There's just something about that guy when he's standing perfectly still, and you're like, what are you doing? What? Like, he just cracks me up. And you know, and I see you nodding. You know what I'm talking about. You.
Hello, sweetie.
Hello, what? What'd you say?
Hello.
Hello. What would you say after hello?
Sweetie.
Oh, hello, sweetie. I thought you said hello, I'm sweaty. I didn't know what was going on. All right, hello, sweetie. How are you? Excellent.
I have a really stupid question.
There's no such thing as stupid questions, only stupid people. That's a joke.
Is it true that you like Hello Kitty?
Is it true that I like Hello Kitty? No. Is there a set up here that I'm not aware of. I can't say I'm a Hello Kitty fan, but in fairness, I'm not a teenage girl, so I think... Why, is the word on the street that I like Hello Kitty?
Yes, I like Hello Kitty.
Oh, well, I think you're more the demographic. Like, it makes more sense. What is it you like about Hello Kitty? Because I'm familiar with Hello Kitty, and I gotta tell you, I don't think Hello Kitty's bringing a lot to the table. It's kind of a cat, sits there.
I like the cat.
You what?
The cat Hello Kitty.
You just like the cat? Hello Kitty has a car? Well, that's unsafe. I mean, I hate to bring logic into the program here, but cats shouldn't drive. And do you collect them?
Yes.
And I have a question. You got up to the microphone and you said, "Hello, sweetie," and you're very confident with yourself in the microphone, and you say you have a question that you read off a sheet. But the question was, do you like Hello Kitty? Did you really need to read that off the sheet? Or did you change your mind? Is there a very long, detailed question like, no, scrap it. Do you like Hello Kitty? Yep, you did. Let's see, bring it up. She's gonna prove me wrong. Oh. Is it true that you like Hello Kitty? Okay. This is the question I get. Here's the question Rob got. I was wondering on my way to Rome, what if Chuck is really God, as everybody says? So Gabriel, Castiel, Lucifer, Michael, and Balthazar are all his sons. Isn't that a bit disturbing? No, I don't like Hello Kitty. Hey, wait. Thank you. Boy, give the brain teaser to Benedict. You. Hi.
So I want to say first that Gabriel is my favorite angel and one of my favorite characters of the whole show.
Thank you very much.
And so I was wondering, which character, if you could choose, which character wouldn't you play?
If I could play a different character.
No, the one you wouldn't play. Wouldn't.
Oh, we had this question yesterday.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I have no problem answering it. What character would I not like to play in Supernatural? There are probably several. I did this. I had a very specific answer yesterday, but I can broaden the answer because I feel comfortable now. I've had the question. I've thought about the question. I can broaden my answer. You, in large part, if you were here yesterday, will remember.
Yes.
You will disagree with me here.
Yeah.
But I am not emotionally prepared yet to play a character that has to bang Jared or Jensen. So, tick off the list. Anna, whoever Genevieve played, you know, bing, bing, bing. Anytime those guys were shirtless making out with somebody, I think I'll sit that one out. On the flip side, there's a lot of characters that, I would never, because you get the question sometimes, what other character would you have liked to have played? And the answer to that is always, none of them, but not because I wouldn't like to have played them, but I think in the episodes I've seen, the actors are great. So it's not like I watch somebody do their work and think, oh man, I'd have killed that. I just kind of did Rob doing me, didn't I? All right. Gonna kill it? Gonna do it? So I love what everybody's done with the show and their characters. That said, one of my favorite performances, so this is my answer, not that I wish I had played it, but it would have been fun to be that actor who was playing it. How about that? Mark Pellegrino as Lucifer.
Yeah.
I think he does such a great job. And I remember working with Mark for the Hammer of the Gods episode, and I was thinking, oh cool, I get to work with Mark Pellegrino. I've seen his work on the show, because I was watching the show currently then, to be sure I was following the story, because I wasn't dead yet. And I remember going to stage and seeing Mark, and Mark was already in makeup, right? And I go over to Mark, and I'm thinking, oh, hey, there's Mark Pellegrino. I'll just pop on over and say hi to Mark Pellegrino. This will be neat. We can do a scene together today. Mark, on the other hand, is sitting down, already made up like his skin's falling off his face, wearing, you know, and his hands are made up because it's all part of the gear, and he's just like this. So I bounce on over, like, hey, Mark. I'm Richard. We're playing a scene today. I'm looking forward to working with you, buddy. And he's like, yeah. And I thought to myself, oh, he's actually going to kill me. I thought we were going to sing about death, and Mark's just going to kill me. Because I realized he's just an intense dude, Mark Pellegrino. He's hilarious. I love the guy. But he's intense. Loved working with him, thought his choices were dynamic, loved him on the show. And he just has a very significant presence, I think, and I really like watching his work. And I remember in the United States, for the conventions we do there, Matt and I host a karaoke party on Friday nights. And as that was building a little bit of excitement amongst the actors, we would have people show up, the actors show up to that who weren't necessarily assigned to show up. They would just show up so they can hang out. And I was telling Pellegrino, I said, Mark, you gotta come to the karaoke party. And he's like, well, I don't really do karaoke. I said, no, I get it, that's fine. You don't have to do anything. Just come by. You know, sit backstage. Like, I don't know. I said, well, we have scotch, fine. I'll be there. Okay, good. So he comes backstage, and he's having a scotch, sitting, hanging out, talking to people. And I go, Mark, if you want to take the stage, you know, you can. It'd be great to have you up there. I think I'm fine here with my scotch. I said, fine, good. You do what you want to do. 2 scotches later, I'm thinking, you sure you don't want to just walk out and say hi, wave to the fans? Like, okay, maybe I will. So, I think Mark's going to walk on stage and go, hello everybody, I'm Mark Pellegrino. That's not what he did. What he did was come out on stage and sing Big Balls by AC/DC and leap around the stage like a chimp on crack. And I remember thinking, Mark Pellegrino! Who put a nickel in the kid? It was awesome. Now since then he's done Rocky Horror Picture Show song. Like, he loves to show up and sing. He does, what do you do, Sweet Transvestite from Transylvania? It's unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, you can YouTube it probably. There's probably a video of it. He's fantastic. And I'm like, wow, that's so not the Mark Pellegrino I expected to come out on stage and do karaoke. So anyway, getting back to your question, 45 minutes ago. Anna. I don't want to be Anna. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. The guy. Question from the guy. All right, let's switch it up. What's up, dude?
I don't really have a question, but I really liked yesterday when you talked about Game of Thrones and that you wanted to be on.
Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
You said something along the lines that you didn't know there was a character for you there.
There's not a character for me there.
Yeah, well, potentially. You know,
Yeah, I gotta tell you.
No, I meant like that you could play, but actually there will be one. They already cast him, Zadie, and I would have loved for him to play him, but he's called Dario, and he's a sellsword and sassy, charming, and ruthless.
Sassy, charming, and ruthless. It's like they read my resume. I feel like, look, I love that show. I really do. There's very few shows that I get into And certainly that genre isn't even a style of show I don't go watch those types of movies, but I started that show and I just think it's phenomenal. And I still feel like there's nothing, like I look at that show, it's all these great British, Irish, Scottish, European actors doing their thing, except for Dinklage, who's American, and he's great. But I feel like unless for some reason the Starks had in their army Rob Benedict that I could go in and do. Like, I've got no problem over here. Being attacked by the people. No. I just don't feel like that's my universe. Not that I couldn't do the job per se, but it's pretty. There's not a lot of Americans on that show. That's a very heavily European cast, and for good reason, in large part. But if I see any more ruthless, sassy, and witty roles, I'll.
Also, on top of it, you would have to a lot of scenes with the Khaleesi.
Yeah, she's easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
Holy
She
mackerel.
likes that character
Say it again? She likes that character?
very much.
Well, way to rub it in, dude. Thanks. No, I don't get to hang out with Khaleesi. Ah, she's good looking. Isn't she? What?
No.
Khaleesi?
Well, in the books.
What, in the books? I don't get the books. I was like 14. She was naked in the show. She can't be 14. She's over 18 at some point. Don't make me feel dirtier than I already am. Which is, I know. Hey, how dare you? Oh, why, it must be American Sweethearts. I'm so bad. They were just trying to make me feel dirty, and it's like they conjured you. Hello, girls. Wait, you don't have to leave. You can still ask your question. Don't go away.
Yeah, why are you leaving?
Is it last person?
Fucking hell, you leaving?
Come on.
Oh wait, is it
What happened?
op and chop?
But you're
I feel like I'm
reading.
speaking, what is it, the Star Trek language? What is it? Klingon! You see, that's how much I look at Star Trek.
What's that old joke?
Star Trek into darkness.
I'm not, the other joke is not funny at all.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to ask your question because you've been sitting up there. I don't want to be there.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're staying though, right?
I'm staying.
Yeah, don't leave.
He's like, don't worry,
You're
I'm
not
staying.
leaving.
He was afraid I was going to leave.
I
It's a full house today.
I don't want you to go anyway, girls.
Yeah, no problem. Come on, let's do question.
I think that's his meaning.
That was more like Rob Benedict.
It sounds like Rob, yeah.
I don't, maybe.
It's not bad.
That was not bad, right?
No.
A little over the top, maybe.
Is there really any over the top when it comes to doing Rob? I don't know if it's possible.
Oh,
Here,
yeah.
go, you hit me up. What's going on?
How did Gabriel feel when he did the Annunciation to the Virgin Mary?
How did the what? The gardener?
How did Gabriel?
Annunciation
How did who?
to the Virgin. Announcement.
Wait, repeat.
Say it again. Say it
What I
again.
love is she's reading it.
No, hold on. Say it again. I'm not following the question.
Italiano.
See, ask her in Italian, and you'll translate.
Okay, I'll try. Because I'm so fluent in Italian. But the Papa, he knows everything. Hallelujah.
You gotta listen to the question. So
Yes, sorry. I diverge.
I know.
Sebastian, ok. Cosa ha provato Gabriel nel chiedere a Maria, a Vergine Maria, di diventare madre di Dio? E lei ha detto
What did Gabriel ask the Virgin Mary?
No.
Oh. What does it feel like? Yeah, what does it feel like to be the mother of God? Is that it?
No.
The question is for what did Gabriel feel when he met the Mother of God?
And did she really say yes right away?
Did she really say yes right away? I'm really glad you brought this up. We were just talking about this in the break room, and I think on point. I want to turn this over to the guy who knows more about this than anybody, Brock Kelly.
It's your turn, bro. Come on. No, that's not what I was asking for.
I thought they were all
That is not what I was asking for.
pretty sure they're all shirtless in the picture.
No, no, it was the pants. It was the pants.
I still don't know the question. What did somebody feel about?
Because you know, Immaculate Conception. Let me tell you about. Because as a priest, I am not allowed to have sex. He can sing too. You know, you can imagine, you know, priests are not allowed to have sex. But by God, do they think about it? If you're wearing a skirt, you know, once I wore a skirt. I was waiting for the reaction, for Richard's reaction. Once I wore a skirt.
You think I'm going to be surprised that you once wore a skirt?
Hey!
Once I wore a skirt on my head, once I wore a skirt on my chest, once I went skirtless. Hello, ladies, girls.
Nothing you do surprises me. Nothing.
It was a kilt. No, it wasn't a
Wait for
kilt.
the rest of the story.
No, when I was telling this story, you know, I actually at Halloween, I dressed up as a woman, a very ugly woman, because I make a really ugly woman. As you can imagine, right? Come on, as you can imagine. Yes! And I was wearing stockings, and stockings feel really good. It actually made me a little horny. I was like, what? The wind's going through the stocking, right? So women must be getting like titillated every time they walk. That's what Papa Francesco wears under his robe. Sorry, I'm talking about the present Pope. Papa Paco. Papa Paco. Papa Paco.
Alright, this is, I think, an appropriate time for me to get the hell off this stage. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Rock Kelly. Give it a hell, boys.
Give it up. Give it up, they were good. Come on.
Take you with you.
He's been with me for the very first. For 14 years, he played the bass the first time I ever walked on stage. Marshall Grant.
I love that. How are you, bro?
I'm in awe. I am just